I think we all remember being children. And it's one of those universal truths that I think almost every adult I've ever spoken to talks about something silly or something harmful or something impulsive they themselves did as a child. It's maybe something that they regret. They also talk about that thing that I did as a child doesn't represent who I am today because I have learned from it, I've grown from it, I've become a great adult who's able to do all these great things for my community. For everyone else who doesn't have a juvenile record, they move beyond their youthful mistakes. For individuals who have a juvenile record, these records follow them. I think that there are ways that we can address this behavior without labeling these individuals for life so they can't become productive adults.
Expunction is when a person is able to have their juvenile record that they have gotten either from contact with law enforcement or state agencies or a county agency or maybe the court system to have those either sealed or completely destroyed.
Even if it isn't the most serious crime in the world, it can get in the way of their applications for things like medical professions, even for anyone who's going to go into someone else's home. For example, even for cleaning services, things that we may not think about, the background checks now are so thorough that they even can uncover a juvenile record, which a lot of people think are not discoverable by employers, but they are. Another barrier for people with juvenile records can be in housing. And I think the thing that shouldn't be discounted is there's a psychological aspect to it as well. I think something that you do that could be very serious and can be obviously against the law when you're 14 years old or 15 years old, there's sort of a psychological negative effect of that being in your way when you get into your 20s or your 30s, and it's still sort of hanging over your head, and it makes it difficult for those to move past that and sometimes to get into a new aspect of their lives. Any barrier we can get out of the way of people moving forward with their lives, I think makes a big difference, and expunction is probably one of the tops on the list for that.
I faced barriers with my juvenile record, mostly trying to apply for my career goals. Like when I finished trade school and tried to get into the medical field, that's when my juvenile record really impacted me. After I graduated job corps and I'm trying to be a caregiver, they let me on. So I'm working, doing a background check. It's happening. A couple months go by, I come to clock in and they tell me I can't clock in. And then they explain to me why. They saying that I failed the background check and they described something that was on my juvenile record. So that crushed me right there. And honestly, I didn't want to be in the field anymore because I'm like, if it's gonna crush me here, like then, I guess I can't do it no more, which led me back to, working warehouse jobs, fast food jobs, making okay money, but, not really to do what, you want to do. So going through the expulsion process was important because I was just tired of being held back from something that happened when I was still a child, and I already paid my debt to society, but I'm still getting treated like a criminal. And well, since my records got expunged, life has changed drastically because I'm able to apply for certain jobs that I've qualified for, but I wasn't able to do at the time. So now, to be honest, my pay is way better. I'm living my life and I'm glad for all the lessons I learned, but I advise you to get your record expunged if you can and when you can.
The Expunction Clinic started with the need. We were talking as an office and we really wanted to find a way to meet the needs of our clients in expunction because it's a very, very complicated process.
When I heard the statistic that 4% of individuals who are eligible to have their juvenile records expunged are successful. So there's a huge population out there that they may have some foggy idea about this, but they don't even know where to go, where to start. Do I have to go to the court? Do I need an attorney? All those kinds of things.
What Youth Rights and Justice does is try to take as many barriers away as we possibly can. But mostly I think what we do is we offer our legal expertise about whether and when they should apply. And when they do, we help them through the process.
Studies show that communities are safer when adults are productive and engaged. And juvenile expunction plays an important role in making sure that we are able to have adults who are engaged in their community.
It really is very touching to be able to have a hand in kind of lifting up our communities to help to just facilitate someone to have a home, to be able to be in an educational program, to be able to keep their job. Everyone's going to be lifted up through this, and so it's heartwarming.